Hi, my name is Alayemi Henry, and today I want us to retouch this picture together. It's a natural image, well, obviously, which means she has no makeup on, nothing on, and I know it can be very scary to a lot of persons, trying to retouch a natural picture. You don't know where to start from, you don't know which line to follow. Most photographers take cue from the makeup artist's makeup and all of that, and so but I'm going to walk you through the process I use, and I'll be explaining each and every step along the way. So, of course, after cropping my image, one of the things I like to do is um, white balance. But before white balance, let's talk about these base characteristics. Base characteristics, I know it's only in Capture One, just so you know, okay? And I know a lot of persons haven't really talked about it, or maybe they have, but I haven't really seen a lot of videos about it. But it's basically gives you the ability to select a different color profile for your image, even from a different brand. And it's so amazing. You can see the different effect and feel or just by selecting the profile. And you can I am already loving the graded feel of the images, like the images looking like they were already edited, and it's all looking very nice and clean. For this particular image, I'll be using Pro Standard. And please, if you want me to explain more about base characteristics and how to select which one works for you, let me know. As you can see on this picture, if you can, I don't know if you can see it, but there is this evenness that it brings to look at this red circle on her neck and somewhere around her chest and her face. But after changing into Pro Standard, you see everything becomes one color. So sometimes this is actually the issue, and once you are familiar with how to use it, you you know which one works for which image. But for this particular one, I don't use one particular one for all my pictures, but for this particular one, I think this works. It fixed that reddish effect that has on the that reddish effect that the image has. And also I'll and then from here I'll add to my white balance, trying to make the picture as natural as possible. That is the goal. You want to make it as natural as possible. Everyone knows she doesn't have makeup on, she doesn't have no lashes on, no lipstick whatsoever, and so you want to really keep it natural. So that's the goal here, that's what I'm trying to achieve. And of course, I also, it's just my style. This is totally stylistic, okay? I mean artistic. It's an artistic choice, okay? You don't have to do it, but basically I don't really like the overcast, that's pronounced highlight on the face, okay? Some persons like it, and that's fine, okay? The images look nice as well. All right, so just with that few settings, I have adjusted my highlights and also my blacks, just as you can see. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm trying to select. Now this hand, I didn't use a reflector for this image, so the hand and this down part of the image is dark, and I'm trying to select and just brighten it up a bit, just to add a little light, to make the whole thing more even. Yeah, so as you can see, I'm adding the exposure, and of course I'm going to touch on the brightness just to make it a little bit more even. Yeah, something like that, so that it's not so dark. Yep, and I think that looks fine to me, instead of that really super dark that it was. Yeah. Okay, so like I said, if you're retouching a natural image, well, my goal really in Capture One is to arrive to to have this super natural tone, more like the base, when you're grading in Photoshop, more like the base. Yes. And so after that is done, I don't really have much, so let's head over to Photoshop. Okay, so while we are waiting for Photoshop to load, there's something I want to pass, or a message I want to pass out there quickly, and that is, now whatever you learn in this process, or that you have even learned, or that just know that as far as you're using these programs, either Photoshop or Capture One, they are very flexible. Okay, the way you actualize or you realize a particular result might be different from the way someone else will, and in a lot of cases the result is the same. Okay, how we get it might be different, how we go about our processes might be different, but the result is the same. So it's always, or I always encourage that you pay key attention to your processes, understand how it works, understand which one suits you better. There are a million ways to do anything in Photoshop. Okay, just understand which one works best for you, and I think that will help you to not only expand your knowledge but also to be more flexible with your work. You're not stuck, you're not feeling like, okay, what am I doing right now and all of that. So please let that be in your what's it called, let that be in your subconscious mind. So yes, Photoshop is finally up after how many years? Damn, I need to change the system. Okay, so like you all know, I don't always stress to remove pimples. Okay, this is Retouch for Me Heal. Is an application. If you want me to do a video on it, or if you want me to share the link as well, please leave a comment in the description and I'll add the link to my description, okay, to download this particular plugin. It helps you take away blemishes. It's not always accurate, like in this picture you can see some of the stains on her neck and on her face and all of that, but it did a great job. There's the before and after. So what I would just do basically is to now take my time and remove all of these blemishes, just as you're seeing me do. Yep, take that out, remove all of that. Yep, and that is that. And also to clean the eyes, I also have my personal action that I use for the eyes. Okay, it's hue saturation, and this is what I'm saying. I have met a lot of photographers that have different ways of cleaning the eyes and it works fine. Okay, but mine is hue saturation. You don't have to follow me verbatim. Okay, you can learn this just in case you see someone else do something different. It doesn't mean this is inferior or this is superior. Okay, it's just how it is. So how to achieve this is, this stain that we always see in the eyes, it resides most of the time in the yellow part, unless you are a strong smoker or a chain smoker, then you might have it in the reds, but a lot of the times it's in the yellows. So you drop the saturation of the yellows to the 0 and also the lightness of yellow to 0, but for the red you want to keep them between 50 and 35. You don't have to drop it to 0 to keep the natural feel of the picture, or of the eyes, I meant to say, to keep the natural feel of the eyes. Okay, so once that is done, select my brush and carefully paint. Remember, I turned down the saturation of the red, and the color of the skin lies majorly in the reds, so I won't want to mess up the skin, so I have to paint carefully. Also, I don't know if this is just me, but see this thing in the eyes, and I don't like it too. I want to take it out. So if you don't mind me, I always take it out. But what I do is I fill that place back with a soft light, just to give it back that natural feel. But I don't like seeing that thing. Okay, once this is done, I'll merge my two layers, and then merge. Okay, yeah, that's done. Then go straight to liquefying. Yes, liquefying is usually my next thing to do after cleaning the eyes and all of that. There's really nothing much to liquefy here, but I want to keep the hair a bit more organized, away from the way it is right now. So that's something I'm trying to do. Yes. Okay, there you have the before and after, just very small changes. Yep, and after this, of course, is the almighty frequency separation. I use f2. Now this is something I also want to talk about. I've heard a lot of photographers say to me, Henry, what is the best value for Gaussian blur in frequency separation? Bro, there is no such thing as best value. Okay, it varies from image to image, and by varies I'm not saying you use 10 for one image and 100 for the other. No, by varies I mean it could be 3 for one and then 2 for the other, or 5. The gap is really not that much, but it varies. And just experiment with which one works for you. I don't know why some photographers find it difficult to if it's not working, just start all over. It's really not that big deal. Okay, so experiment with which one works for you. For instance, as it is a natural skin, you want to keep the value really high, and the reason for that is you want to retain as much detail as possible. You don't want to give her that excessively smooth skin. Okay, I'm going to do a part 2 where I'll do a super smooth skin of the same person, the same model, and she'll be facing forward in the other one. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing and show you guys the different results. But really, what you want to get is you want to get something really natural. If you're retouching a natural person's image, in fact, the one I'm going to be showing you, I won't advise anyone to retouch a natural picture like that. Alright, so as far as the natural picture, you want to also keep it very natural. Now when you have a high value for your Gaussian blur, like say 4 or 5, what happens really is the effectiveness of the brush is somehow reduced. Okay, it's not as high as when you have it as low values, say 2 or 1 or even 3. So you want to keep it really high. For instance, let's assume you want to brush a face of someone that has water on their face. You don't want to use a low value, even though you're going to brush that water off. Okay, you want to use a very high value so that the brush, the flow of the brush does not really have that much effect. I don't know how to explain this, but if I'm able to come up with a better explanation, I'll let you guys know. So also part of the question that people ask, these are the values I use. Wetness 35, I use mostly 35, 35, 35, and then 40 for flow. Okay, it's not really a big deal. I keep the other ones full. I keep the other ones at 0. Okay, so yeah, again, in the brushing part, as you can see, skins are different. Okay, the flow of skin is what you're looking at for. The way our chin is, the flow of the skin of our chin and the flow of the skin on our nose region and neck region is not the same thing. So you have to take note of all of those errors and be sure, so that you can brush the right way. Because I'm sure you wonder, how do some people brush that? It looks so nice, but when I do mine, the person is looking different. You brush in the flow of not just the skin itself, you also brush in the flow of the light. Okay, I cannot brush against this light on a cheek now and expect an amazing result. No, it's going to look very funny. And then when you're brushing, don't drag one long drag from neck to cheek. In the name of you want to keep tapping. Like, what you're doing basically is just fixing the little pores, the little sunburn, the little it's not like you're doing surgery. You're not performing a major surgery on anybody's child. Okay, so you want to just brush it little. Don't keep your flow of brush, and you're tapping on your mouse, or if it is the pen you use, keep it very, very minimal. Also, one of the things I like to do when I'm brushing, please pay attention to this very carefully. It's very important, and I'm very sure it's going to save a lot of you, and you're going to see why your brushing looks funny. Is, as I'm brushing, notice how my brush is constantly changing in size. Okay, because I have one of my hand on my mouse, while the other one is constantly changing the sizes of the brush from left to right. Is moving from left to right, changing the sizes. And this is something I rarely see people do. They just have their one hand and they are retouching using one brush size to brush almost every part of the picture. It doesn't always work that way. If you see my picture and you like it and you think you want to brush like me, I am telling you the secret now. Okay, when you're brushing those narrow places, you want to use smaller brushes, and when you're brushing those wide areas, you want to use bigger brushes. You don't want to use small brushes for a wide region. You're just going to create patches and it's going to look very, very weird and fun. Okay, so you want to increase your brush size almost to the size of the area you are brushing. And again, since this is a natural picture and we are trying to keep it as natural as possible, and that really should be the goal if you are retouching a natural image. It's not because you are always I'm going to do a part 2 of this video, like I said earlier, and show you how you would retouch an image if you wanted it to be like, say, a beauty portrait, and then you can exaggerate you can increase your flow. At that point, you can use a very low Gaussian block, say 2. Although it still depends on the quality of the image. For instance, a very high res image, you might still use as much as 5, and it will still look like it's a low value. Okay, so you want to use a very, very low value and brush with that, and you will notice how soft and smooth the image is going to be. Okay, so like I said, don't forget, don't brush with the same stroke. Okay, different strokes for different folks. Now this is what we have all together, and let me quickly brush the hand. Okay, there. Okay, I want to say something quickly, and this is something most people won't tell you, and that is, if you're shooting with, or if you're brushing, I mean to say, if you're done brushing and you zoom out and the image or the picture looks funny, don't be scared to tone down or to drop the either the opacity or the feel of your brushing. It mustn't be at 100%. Okay, it really mustn't be at 100%. Feel free to drop it a bit, and let your image have that natural look and all of that. So yes, today I'm not going to be using any of my lots. I'm not going to be using anything I've done before. We are going to grade the image from start. Why am I even saying grading like it's one cereal or something? We are going to well, which word will best describe this now? Okay, you see the before and after. Looks nice. I love it. I really love it. What do you think? Please let me know in the comments. Okay, so like I said, we are not going to use any of our lots and all of that. And the goal still is to get as natural as like a natural skin. So I'm a selective color guy. It's usually one thing I'm thinking about if I'm thinking of color grading. The first thing I'm thinking about is selective color. So yes, head over straight to the selective color, and you can use any way you want. You can choose, or how would I put that? You can choose any way you want. Yeah. So yes, one of the reasons why I like selective color is so they give you red and then still give you like 4 sliders for each color, and it's amazing to me. You have cyan, you have magenta, you have the yellow, and then you have your blacks. And what I like to do basically, again, like I said, is to actualize the natural skin. And so I'm going to be moving the sliders, experimenting with which one suits best. And if you know me very well, I am never scared of moving any slider, and that's one thing that actually keeps a lot of people in most places. You've seen someone do something one time and you want to just keep doing it like that. And please, if you did not even learn anything from this tutorial, learn this: you do not have to do it exactly the way I'm doing it. Okay, give yourself the mind liberty to explore and try new things as well. Okay, so as you can see, I have been able to add a little bit of, what's it called now, something to it. Now another thing I'm trying to explain here is, first of all, as you can see, this layer mask is there for a reason. A lot of people don't use it. You want to open one slider and grade the entire image. The truth is, it's because this image doesn't have much of red in it. If not, whatever I'm doing would have affected the whole thing. And as you can see, as I'm moving the blue slider, because there's blue in the image, of course it's affecting it. But imagine that I just wanted to affect the blue on the dress, and sometimes that's what you want to do. Use the layer mask. Do you want me to do a separate video on layer mask? Please tell me, I'll be glad to do it. Use the layer mask. Like, what I want to do now is, the lips is a bit different from what it was after I added this lot. So what would I do? Just carry my brush with a black foreground color and paint over the lips to bring back the actual color of the lips. Okay, and so what I'm trying to say basically is if you're adding an adjustment layer and you just know where exactly you want it to affect, it's not always the entire image you want it to be in. This is golden advice, please heed to it. You don't always want it to affect the entire image, just a particular region and you're done. And you can open as many layers as possible. As you can see, for instance, on the first selective color that I used, I didn't really touch the blacks, but I opened the second one to touch the blacks and the whites. You can open different selective color for different part of the image, for the background, for the skin, for the clothes, for the hair, for the highlights, for the shadows, all of that. You can do that. And then the next one I want to use, of course, is the golden boy, the gradient map. I love it so much. I always like to use the neutral. It doesn't work on every image, just so you know. So you have to know when to use it. Invert that, change the blending mode to soft light, and then this is something you want to pay attention to as well. Okay, aside brushing, there is also another method that you can do that will help you limit the effect of the adjustment layer on a particular region of the on a particular section of the image. Yes, sorry for the lack of better word, but on a particular section of the image, and it's called apply image. If you know your frequency separation very well, then you know what this is. So it's called apply image. Basically, it gives you the liberty to you can change which layer is which, how you want. As you can see, look towards the adjustments layer, the layer mask I meant to say. You can see that the dark region, or which is our outfits, and then the gray like region. So that gray now is like a fainty effect of the the adjustment. It's not pure white. Okay, like as you can see that once I change it to white, you notice how the effect is applied on the clothes, on the hair, those regions that are white basically. But if I return it back, which obviously is what I'm going to do to this image, because I don't want it to be on the clothes and the hair and all of those parts, but basically that's the whole concept. Okay, so if you're doing something like that, you want to if you want me to do a full video on just this what's it called now, on just this apply image, please let me know in the comments and I will do a full video on it. And so, like as you can see, I have applied it, and it's applied to only the skin and in a very soft manner. But then if I'm not satisfied with it, I can still paint out those other areas, paint them out on the mask, on the layer marks, paint them out. And it mustn't really be perfect, okay, because of course it's not even that pronounced. It's honestly not that noticeable to the naked eyes. Okay, so you can see very subtle effects that sinks into the skin, and that's just so natural. You can see the before and the after. Oh my god, this is looking so gorgeous already. Alright, so also you must not use 100% of it. You can reduce it, experiment with which one works for you. And of course, so like I said, this image I'm trying to keep it as natural as possible. Okay, so yeah, the main work is done, and basically what I'm trying to do now is just to make the image pop, have that distinct color from the background, and then there is no overcast of any color, unless that's what you're looking to get. For me, I think this is perfect, this is nice, and I'm just trying to brighten it up a bit. Yeah, just like that, and this is fine for me. Yeah, this is fine for me. So as you can see, and yes, this is the final image. What do you think?